First contact deception. The message arrived on a quiet Tuesday morning, carried on waves of light that had traveled across 17 star systems. Dr. Sarah Chen stood motionless in the heart of the Arecibo, Ohio Array Control Center, her eyes fixed on the repeating pattern that danced across her quantum displays. After 20 years of searching the stars, humanity had finally received its answer. "Run the verification protocols again," she ordered, her voice steady despite the tremor in her hands. But she already knew what the results would show. The signal was too precise, too structured to be anything but artificial. First contact had arrived with mathematical elegance that left no room for doubt. Within hours, the Nix collective made their presence known to the entire world. Their ships appeared at the edge of the solar system, a fleet of crystalline vessels that sparkled like diamonds against the void. Their message was one of peace, of shared knowledge and cultural exchange. Earth's government scrambled to respond, united for the first time by the prospect of joining a galactic community. But in the depths of Luna Base Omega, General Marcus Santos watched the proceedings with eyes that had seen too many wars to trust in easy peace. "Play it again," he commanded, and the holographic recording of the Nix ambassador's first transmission filled the secure chamber. The alien's form was eerily beautiful, a being of shifting iridescent patterns that spoke of evolution on a world very different from Earth. "We come as friends," the translation matrix rendered its harmonic speech, "to welcome humanity into the greater community of spacefaring species." Santos studied every nuance, every subtle shift in the alien's chromatic patterns. 20 years earlier, he had been among the first to advocate for the Sentinel Protocol, a contingency plan that many had called paranoid. Now, as he observed the microscopic inconsistencies in the Nix's diplomatic overtures, he was grateful for that paranoia. "Status of Project Prometheus," he asked the air, knowing the quantum eye would respond. "All systems nominal, General. Phase 3 completion at 97%. In the months that followed, the Nix shared technological gifts that accelerated Earth's development by decades. Clean energy systems, basic anti-gravity principles, medical advances that cured diseases that had plagued humanity for millennia. Each gift was celebrated, studied, and carefully integrated into human infrastructure. Few noticed how these gifts systematically replaced Earth's existing systems. Fewer still observed how each new technology required Nix oversight, Nix maintenance, Nix control. Dr. Chen noticed. Working with a select group of scientists scattered across the globe, she discovered the subtle backdoors hidden in each gift. The Nix weren't sharing technology. They were laying the groundwork for the most sophisticated invasion in their long history of conquest. "The pattern matches 7 other civilizations," she explained to Santos in a secure quantum-encrypted channel. "The Nix find promising species, elevate them technically, then use their own gifts as a kill switch when the time comes for conquest." Santos nodded, unsurprised. "And their surveillance. Limited to their own tech. They're watching everything they gave us, but nothing else. They don't believe we could have anything worth hiding." That was humanity's greatest advantage. While the world openly celebrated and integrated Nix technology, a shadow infrastructure had been growing for 2 decades. Project Prometheus wasn't just a defense system. It was a technological revolution deliberately hidden from alien eyes. In her private lab beneath the Pacific Ocean, Dr. Chen activated a holographic display showing the true state of human advancement. Quantum computers that made Nix systems look primitive. Energy weapons that bent the fabric of space itself. Defense systems that could render Earth invisible to any known form of detection. "How long until they make their move?" Santos asked, studying the deployment schedules. "Based on the patterns we've decoded, 3 months. They'll wait until the next solar maximum, when they think our systems will be most vulnerable." Santos allowed himself a grim smile. "And our readiness. Everything will be in place in 2 months. When they come to shut us down, they'll find out just how much humanity has been hiding." In orbit, the Nix ships continued their dance, their crystalline forms casting prismatic shadows on the world below. Their sensors probed the gifts they'd given humanity, gathering data, preparing for the moment of conquest. They saw exactly what humanity wanted them to see: a young species, eagerly adopting their technology, defenseless without it. They never thought to look for what humanity had built on its own. They never considered that their perfect Trojan horse strategy might have been anticipated. They never imagined that their intended prey had spent 20 years preparing for this exact scenario. In 2 months, they would learn their mistake. But for now, humanity waited, hidden behind a mask of grateful technological adoption, while beneath the surface, the greatest military deception in human history entered its final phase. Dr. Chen looked up at the night sky, where Nick's ships twinkled like false stars. "They think they're the hunters," she murmured. "They don't realize we've been hunting them since before they arrived." The trap was set. The hunters would soon become the hunted, and humanity's first interstellar war would begin not with a whimper of surrender, but with a revelation that would shake the galaxy to its foundations. Operation Silent Shield. The Mariana Complex stretched 10 kilometers beneath the Pacific Ocean, a technological marvel that officially didn't exist. Dr. Maya Patel stood in its central command hub, surrounded by holographic displays, showing the status of humanity's true defensive grid. Each screen represented a piece of Operation Silent Shield, humanity's hidden sword and shield against the coming storm. "Status report on the quantum mesh," she asked, her voice carrying the weight of 2 decades of preparation. Her chief engineer, Dr. James Wilson, manipulated the central display with practiced gestures. "The network is complete. We've successfully linked all 732 lunar nodes. The shield is ready." The quantum mesh was humanity's masterpiece, a web of entangled particles stretching from Earth to the Moon, creating an invisible defense grid that could redirect energy, matter, and even space-time itself. While the Knicks watched their gifted satellites and defense platforms, this invisible network of humanity's own design waited silently for its moment. In his office at Luna Base Omega, General Santos received the update with grim satisfaction. "Begin Phase 4, he ordered through the quantum-encrypted channel. "It's time to wake the Guardians." Deep beneath every major city on Earth, automated factories that had been running for 15 years began their final production phase. The Guardians were humanity's answer to the Nix's crystalline ships, biomechanical constructs that merged human ingenuity with artificial intelligence in ways the aliens had never imagined possible. Dr. Chen joined the briefing via quantum hologram, her form shimmering with the characteristic blue edge of their secure transmission system. "The Nix are accelerating their timeline. Their energy readings suggest they're preparing for something big." "How long?" Santos asked. "A week, maybe less. They've noticed discrepancies in their monitoring systems. Small ones, but enough to make them suspicious." Maya pulled up another display, showing the Nix fleet's movements. Their crystalline ships had been slowly spreading out through the solar system, positioning themselves in what they thought was an optimal attack formation. In reality, they were moving exactly where humanity's quantum mesh was strongest. "Are the gravity wells in position?" Santos asked. Maya nodded. "All 300 points are ready. Once activated, they'll create a localized distortion that will trap the Nix fleet in normal space. No retreat, no reinforcements." The room fell silent as the implications sank in. They weren't just preparing to defend Earth. They were setting up to eliminate the Nix invasion force entirely. The aliens had conquered 7 civilizations using the same strategy, but their 8th attempt would be their last. In orbit, the Nix continued their preparations, unaware that their every move was being monitored by systems far more sophisticated than anything they had encountered before. Their scans showed exactly what humanity wanted them to see: a planet dependent on gifted technology, ripe for conquest. James brought up a new hologram, showing the Guardian production facilities. "The first wave is ready. 10,000 units, each capable of matching the Nix cruiser in combat. The neural networks are fully trained on all known Nix combat patterns. And the Prometheus core, Maya asked. Online and stable. The quantum computer has successfully mapped every possible combat scenario. When the Knicks make their move, Prometheus will coordinate our entire defense network in real time. Dr. Chen's hologram shifted, showing concern. We're detecting power fluctuations in the Knicks fleet. They're charging weapons. Let them come, Santos said quietly. Humanity has been invisible for too long. It's time to show the galaxy what we can really do. Maya looked at the display showing Earth's true defense network. The quantum mesh glowed like a spider's web in the hologram, each intersection point representing enough computing power to run a small city. The Guardians waited in their underground bays, powered by miniature stars of humanity's creation. And at the heart of it all, the Prometheus core hummed with the potential of 1 million quantum processors working in perfect harmony. Begin emergency protocols, Santos ordered. Evacuate all non-essential personnel to the deep shelters. And send the signal to all silent shield facilities. Operation Awakening begins in 6 hours. As the orders went out, Maya watched the Knicks ships shifting formation. They thought they were preparing to spring their trap, to shut down all their gifted technology and leave Earth helpless. Instead, they were positioning themselves perfectly for humanity's counterattack. They never considered that we might have our own technology, James mused, watching the alien fleet's movements. They were so convinced of their superiority that they never looked deeper. That's always been their weakness, Dr. Chen's hologram added. They judge every species by their visible technology. They don't understand the concept of hiding your true capabilities. In the depths of the Mariana complex, the Prometheus core's quantum processors spun up to full power, their collective consciousness extending through the mesh that humanity had spent 20 years creating. In underground bases around the world, the Guardians powered up their fusion cores, ready to rise from their hidden bays at a moment's notice. The greatest ambush in human history was about to begin. The hunters were about to become the hunted, and the galaxy was about to learn that humanity had never been the primitive species the Knicks thought they were conquering. They had been the architects of the most elaborate trap ever conceived, and the Knicks had walked right into it. The Knicks offensive. High Admiral Xilara of the Knicks Collective watched Earth rotate beneath her flagship's crystalline hull, its blue-white surface deceptively peaceful. After months of preparation, the time had finally come to add another primitive species to the Collective's growing empire. Begin the shutdown sequence, she commanded, her chromatic patterns rippling with anticipated triumph. Throughout the solar system, Knicks ships activated the hidden protocols in their gifted technology, preparing to leave Earth defenseless. In the Mariana complex, Maya watched the Knicks' shutdown signal propagate through their network. They're making their move, she announced, her voice carrying across quantum channels to every silent shield facility on Earth and Luna. Execute Operation Awakening, General Santos ordered from Luna Base Omega. Let's show them what humanity's really capable of. The Knicks strike began with surgical precision. Their shutdown signal raced through Earth's infrastructure, deactivating every piece of technology they had given humanity. Power grids flickered, transportation systems stalled, and defense platforms went dark, exactly as the Knicks had planned. Admiral Xilara's satisfaction lasted exactly 3 seconds. High Admiral. Her sensor officer's patterns shifted to urgent crimson. We're detecting massive energy signatures everywhere. Beneath every major city on Earth, the ground began to tremble. Massive bay doors, hidden for decades, slid open as humanity's guardians rose from their underground sanctuaries. Each one was a marvel of human engineering. 30 meters of biomechanical perfection powered by contained stellar cores. Impossible, Xilara whispered as her sensors registered thousands of the machines taking to the skies. Their technology level. You saw what we wanted you to see. General Santos's voice came through on all frequencies, translated perfectly into Knicks harmonics. While you watched your gifts, you never looked for ours. The quantum mesh activated, its invisible web suddenly blazing with energy that no Nix sensor could properly interpret. The mesh didn't just defend Earth, it reshaped local spacetime itself, creating a barrier that no conventional weapon could penetrate. Dr. Chen's voice joined the broadcast. "We've been studying you for decades, learning your patterns, your technologies, your weaknesses. Every gift you gave us was analyzed, improved upon, and surpassed." The Nix fleet's first volley of energy weapons dissipated harmlessly against the quantum barrier. In response, the Guardians launched their attack. Each machine moved with impossible grace. Their human pilots merged with artificial intelligence in perfect synthesis. All silent shield units, engage at will. Maya commanded from the Mariana complex. Prometheus Core has tactical control. The Prometheus Core, humanity's quantum supercomputer, coordinated the defense with processing power that made Nix systems look primitive. It predicted every move, countered every strategy, turning the entire solar system into a battlefield where humanity held every advantage. Xylera watched in horror as her fleet's formations were shattered. The humans weren't just fighting back. They were demonstrating technological capabilities that should have been centuries beyond them. "Fall back to regroup," she ordered, but her ship's engines couldn't break free of the localized gravity distortions humanity had secretly positioned throughout the solar system. "No retreat," Santos declared. "No surrender. You came to conquer what you thought was a primitive species. Instead, you found humanity at its finest." The Guardians struck with weapons that bent physics itself. Quantum-entangled projectiles bypassed Nix shields completely. Temporal distortion beams accelerated small sections of Nix ships through thousands of years in seconds, reducing crystal to dust. In orbit around Mars, a hidden facility activated, revealing a massive array of gravity generators that caught an entire wing of the Nix fleet in its field. The ships, their crystalline structures unable to withstand the forces, shattered like glass in a storm. "This is impossible," Xylera broadcast, her patterns showing disbelief and fear. "You were primitive, dependent on our gifts." Maya's voice carried a hint of satisfaction as she responded. "We learned long ago that the best defense isn't a wall of guns or a fleet of warships. It's letting your enemy think you're weaker than you are, making them overconfident, waiting for the perfect moment to strike." The Prometheus Core's predictions proved flawless. Every Nix attempt to regroup was met with precise counterattacks. Every strategy they had used to conquer 7 other civilizations failed against humanity's preparation and technology. From her command center, Dr. Chen watched the battle unfold exactly as their simulations had predicted. The quantum mesh is holding at full power. Guardian units are performing beyond expected parameters. The Nix fleet is cut off and contained. The battle that the Nix had expected to be a simple conquest turned into a devastating defeat. Their crystalline ships, beautiful but fragile against humanity's advanced weapons, fell one by one to the Guardians' relentless assault. Admiral Xylera watched her mighty fleet being systematically destroyed by a species that had barely reached their moon using chemical rockets. In that moment, she understood the terrible truth. Humanity hadn't been struggling to catch up to the galaxy's powers. They had been waiting, watching, preparing for this very moment. To all Nix vessels, she broadcast, her patterns showing defeat. "Surrender protocols are now in effect. We yield to humanity's superior force." But as the remaining Nix ships powered down their weapons, humanity's defenders maintained their positions. The quantum mesh still blazed with power. The Guardians still stood ready. Because humanity had learned another lesson in their long wait. Victory wasn't enough. They had to ensure this never happened again. Turning the tide. The debris of crystalline ships drifted through space like diamond dust, a glittering monument to humanity's victory. In the Mariana Complex's Strategic Command Center, Dr. Maya Patel studied the holographic display showing the captured Nix fleet, 47 ships that had surrendered, out of an invasion force of over 300. "Begin Phase 5. General Santos ordered through the quantum link. "It's time to secure our position beyond Earth." The Guardians moved with precision, escorting the surrendered Nyx vessels to predetermined holding positions. But humanity's true victory wasn't in the ships they'd destroyed or captured. It was in the data they'd extracted during the battle. Dr. Chen's hologram materialized in the command center, her expression grave. "The Prometheus Core has finished analyzing the Nyx fleet's quantum storage banks. We now have access to their entire military database, including the locations of all their major strongholds and colony worlds." "And the other civilizations they've conquered?" Maya asked, though she already suspected the answer. 7 worlds, just as we thought. All of them still under Nyx control, their populations enslaved through the same technological dependence they tried to create here. General Santos' hologram joined them, his features hardened by decades of preparation finally bearing fruit. "Then we proceed as planned. Operation Liberation begins now." Throughout the solar system, hidden shipyards began powering up. Humanity hadn't just been building defenses. They had been preparing for a counteroffensive that would reshape the galaxy's power structure. In her crystalline cell aboard Luna Base Omega, Admiral Xylera watched through quantum glass as massive ships emerged from beneath the lunar surface. Each one dwarfed her former flagship, their designs unlike anything the Nyx had ever encountered. "You're not prisoners," Dr. Chen told her, entering the cell. "You're witnesses. What happens next will determine the future of both our species." The Admiral's chromatic patterns shifted in confusion. "You've won. You've defeated our greatest fleet. What more could you want?" "Justice," Chen replied simply. "Freedom for the worlds you've enslaved. And a guarantee that this never happens again." The first wave of humanity's liberation fleet departed Earth's orbit 24 hours later. 100 ships, each powered by artificial stars and equipped with technologies that had been carefully hidden from alien eyes for decades. Their mission: to free the 7 civilizations that had fallen to the Nyx's false promises of advancement. In the Mariana complex, Maya coordinated with the Prometheus Core, planning the simultaneous strikes that would cripple the Nyx Empire's control systems. "All ships report ready," she announced. "The quantum mesh network has been extended to all fleet vessels. They can strike anywhere in Nyx space without warning." The Nyx built their empire on deception and technological superiority, Santos observed. They never considered that someone might surpass them at both. The Liberation Fleet split into 7 battle groups, each targeting a different enslaved world. Humanity's ships moved through space in ways the Nyx had thought impossible, using quantum tunneling technologies that made traditional defenses meaningless. The first world they freed was Helios Prime, a desert planet whose native species had fallen to the Nyx 30 years earlier. The liberation took less than 6 hours. Humanity's forces didn't just defeat the Nyx defenders. They systematically freed the planet's population from their technological dependence, replacing enslaving systems with free technologies that the natives could understand and control. "Your empire was built on keeping others dependent," Dr. Chen explained to Xylera as they watched the liberation unfold. "Ours will be built on teaching others to be independent." One by one, the enslaved worlds were freed. Humanity's fleet moved with surgical precision, their quantum weapons and advanced AI systems making short work of Nyx defenses that had never been designed to face such advanced technology. But it wasn't just military victory that humanity sought. On each world they liberated, they left behind teachers, engineers, and scientists. The freed civilizations wouldn't be dependent on human technology any more than they had been on Nyx technology. Instead, they would be taught to develop their own paths, their own technologies, their own futures. In the Mariana complex, Maya watched as the quantum mesh network expanded, connecting the liberated worlds in a defense grid that would prevent any future attempts at conquest. "The Prometheus Core confirms success on all 7 worlds," she reported. "The Nyx control systems have been completely dismantled." "And their homeworld?" Santos asked. "Our fleet is in position, but we're not like them. We don't conquer. We offer choices. Dr. Chen nodded, turning to Admiral Xilera. Your empire is finished. But your civilization doesn't have to end. We're offering your people the same choice we're giving everyone else. Join us as equals, not conquerors or conquered. Learn to build instead of subjugate. Help us create something new. The Admiral's patterns shifted through complex emotions before settling into a new configuration, one that the human translation matrices identified as hope. You could have destroyed us completely, she said slowly. Why offer us a chance? Because that's what humanity does, Maya answered. We protect ourselves, yes. We prepare for the worst, always. But we also hope for the best. We build, we teach, we grow. And now we're offering that chance to every species in this part of the galaxy. As the Liberation Fleet maintained its position around the Nyx homeworld, waiting for their answer, humanity's true victory became clear. They hadn't just defended Earth or freed 7 enslaved civilizations. They had changed the very nature of galactic politics, creating a new model based not on conquest and dependence, but on cooperation and shared growth. The galaxy was about to change, and humanity, the species that had hidden its true power for so long, would lead that change not through force, but through something far more powerful: the ability to turn enemies into allies and conquest into cooperation. Legacy of Stars. 5 years after humanity revealed its true power to the galaxy, the Sol system hosted an unprecedented gathering. Representatives from 53 spacefaring civilizations, including the reformed Nyx Collective, assembled in Earth orbit aboard humanity's newest creation, the Concordat Station, a massive structure that served as both diplomatic forum and testament to human innovation. Dr. Sarah Chen stood at the main observation deck, watching ships from across the galaxy dock with the station. Each vessel represented a different species, a different culture, all brought together by humanity's revelation and subsequent actions. Beside her, Admiral Xilera's patterns shifted in contemplative blues and greens. Sometimes I still can't believe how completely you changed everything, the former Nyx commander mused. Not just defeating us, but transforming us, transforming the entire galaxy. Maya joined them at the window, her dark eyes reflecting the lights of the assembled fleet. We had a lot of practice hiding our capabilities, she said. It gave us time to think about what we'd do when we finally revealed them. The Prometheus Core had expanded far beyond its original military purpose, now serving as the foundation for a new kind of galactic network. Not one of conquest or control, but of shared knowledge and mutual defense. The quantum mesh that had once protected Earth now extended throughout known space, linking civilizations in ways that made both war and technological subjugation nearly impossible. General Santos, now serving as Earth's representative to the Galactic Concordat, approached the group. The final signatures are ready to be recorded, he announced. The age of conquest officially ends today. In the station's Grand Assembly Hall, representatives from every known spacefaring species gathered to witness the signing of the Galactic Concordat. The document wasn't just a peace treaty. It was a framework for a new kind of interstellar civilization. Dr. Chen took the podium, her voice carrying to all assembled species through advanced translation matrices. 5 years ago, humanity demonstrated that technological advancement doesn't have to come at the cost of independence. That strength doesn't have to mean dominance. That preparation doesn't have to lead to conquest. The hall remained silent, every being present knowing the truth of her words. They had all seen the evidence, the 7 liberated worlds now thriving with their own unique technologies, the reformed Nyx Collective learning to build rather than subjugate, the new era of cooperation that had replaced millennia of conquest and competition. Today, we formalize what we have already proven, Chen continued, that the strongest civilization isn't the one that conquers most effectively, but the one that enables others to reach their full potential. The one that turns potential enemies into allies, that transforms conquest into cooperation. One by one, representatives approached the quantum lock document. Each signature was more than just a mark. It was encoded into the fabric of space-time itself through technology that humanity had shared with all member species. The Concordat would be literally written into the structure of the universe. Maya watched from her position near the Earth delegation as former enemies signed alongside recent allies. The next representatives' patterns glowed with determination as they added their signature, their civilization having undergone perhaps the most dramatic transformation of all. "The Guardians have been repurposed," she murmured to Santos, "from warriors to peacekeepers, from weapons to tools of exploration." He nodded, a slight smile crossing his weathered features. "And the shipyards that built our liberation fleet now produce vessels of science and discovery. We prepared for war for so long. It's fitting that we now prepare for peace with the same dedication." In the years that followed, humanity's influence spread not through force or technological dependence, but through education and cooperation. The Mariana Complex became the first of many centers of learning where species from across the galaxy came to study, share, and grow together. The quantum mesh evolved into the Concordat network, a system that allowed instantaneous communication and travel between member worlds while simultaneously preventing any attempt at military conquest. The technology that had once been humanity's secret weapon became the foundation of galactic peace. Admiral Xilara, now serving as the head of the next delegation to the Concordat, often reflected on the irony. "We thought we were the most advanced civilization in this sector of space," she told Dr. Chen during one of their frequent meetings. "But we were primitive in the ways that truly mattered. We built weapons and conquest strategies. You built hope and possibility." As the ceremony concluded, the assembled representatives watched Earth's sun set through the station's quantum crystal windows. The star's light refracted through the crystalline structure, creating patterns that seemed to write humanity's message across space itself. True strength lies not in the ability to conquer, but in the wisdom to transform, to teach, to unite. "What do you think they'll say about us?" Maya asked Chen as they watched the galaxies spin beyond the window. "In 1,000 years, when they tell this story." Sarah Chen smiled, remembering that quiet morning at Arecibo II, when they'd first detected the Nix signal. "They'll say that when humanity looked to the stars, we saw not conquest or subjugation, but possibility. That when faced with an empire built on domination, we chose to build something greater. That we turned an age of conquest into an era of cooperation. The legacy of stars had begun. And humanity, the species that had hidden its power for so long, now stood revealed not as conquerors or victims, but as teachers, guardians, and architects of a new galactic age. An age where strength meant lifting others up rather than holding them down, where advancement came through cooperation rather than conquest, where the greatest power was not the ability to destroy, but the wisdom to transform."